AEW had a pay-per-view on Saturday. One of the most unnecessary, useless, soulless, lifeless, void of any creative shows that AEW has put on maybe in all 6 years of their existence. WrestleDream 2025. There was a lot of criticism coming out of Saturday's show. I was the spearhead of those criticisms, and everything I said had much validity to it. Then comes Sunday morning, and the troops, the valiant troops, the ones that wave the flag of AEW and they bleed AEW, they had to go to war for the company that they so love because they can't handle criticisms of what is obviously a shit product. They can't handle criticisms of what obviously is a dying product. A product that is going this way and not going this way. What am I talking about? Well, first of all, people complained about the pre-show bleeding into the actual main card that we paid $50 for, which I'll get into in a second. The big thing that people complained about was the fish tank spot in the main event between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, where we saw Jon Moxley have Darby Allin in the middle of the ring, a fish tank which was filled with ice-cold water, Jon Moxley dunking Darby Allin's head into said fish tank, trying to waterboard / drown him in the middle of the ring on an AEW pay-per-view. People complained about this. Indie Mudshow garbage. This is not a main event. They bypassed the AEW World Championship match between Adam Page and Samoa Joe for this trash. I don't believe AEW says that they're family friendly and then they do something like this. I would never let my kids watch this. This is insane. This is blah, blah, blah. All of these things. All of these things. So the troops, the AEW employees, the ones that bleed AEW, they go to bat for the company and back the decision about this fish tank spot and back the decision to have Jon Moxley and Darby Allin create their arts or whatever you want to call it. And I'm sitting here and I don't really understand why people are arguing about the fish tank spot. And I don't really understand why the company cannot look at the online wrestling community and sit there and just take the criticisms that are obviously always going to be there. If there are criticisms about your product, that means people care and people want it to be better. I don't really understand this. But there you got Amanda Huber out there wrestling with the online wrestling community about people's opinions, going back and forth with fans and even an ex-AEW employee / producer in Sarah Stock. What did she say? We'll go over it today right here on Off the Script. It is a brand new week. It is your Monday, October 20th, 2025. You know, it's Monday and I have a lot I want to get off my chest here. Number one of the criticisms that I had about the show was that the pre-show bled into the actual pay-per-view that I paid $50 for. Now, to dead the narrative of the fucking idiots out there, JD only covers AEW because he has no other engagement but to hate on AEW, JD from New Jersey, 026. First of all, I'm not from New Jersey, number one. Number two, where were you people when I was openly glazing the AEW product? None of you had a fucking thing to say. But now here I am in 2025 going hard on AEW because I care. Going hard on AEW to fix the things that are wrong with the product. And all I do is get grief for giving you guys a very intelligent, straightforward, honest, genuine opinion. It is my job to do so. The other thing that I heard this weekend was, he complains about the length of the show, but then he goes and covers the show for 3 hours, JD, from Queens, NY, 00206. I don't know. It's my fucking job to do so. I've made this my everyday gig. It was my choice to watch the show and then go live. Have you guys ever had a job, or maybe you're currently at that job right now, where you wake up every single day and say, oh man, I don't want to go to work today. I would much rather stay home and play Battlefield 6 for 8 fucking hours and not do anything and be a lazy sack of shit instead of go to work. That's exactly what I was saying. But you know what? You man up. You put your fucking pants on and you go to work and you make your money. I don't understand the fucking criticisms of people who said that. Oh, the hypocrisy. What hypocrisy? It's my fucking job. What would you like me to do? Give up making money? All my cats, they would be looking at me. Hey, human, where's my fucking food? It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, maybe if you were genuine and honest, you'd have some fucking audience. I am the standard bearer. I'm the fucking flag of live streaming pro wrestling content / post shows in the community, and I have numbers to back it up. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, out of all of your favorite creators that do what I do, and this is not a flex because the numbers just show it, I'm number one. And then I got together with somebody that I call a true personal friend on Tuesdays, and we have the number one fucking duo podcast in the community, where it's the superpowers of both of our communities joining forces, making that show the number one fucking duo podcast that goes live every Tuesday in the entire community. The only other duo show that is ahead of us is Brian Last and Jim Cornette, and that is factual information. So again, I don't really understand all of the criticisms when A, I go live to do my job, and then B, am now ridiculed for my confidence when A, I should always be confident, and the numbers back it up. I don't really understand that. I don't need AEW. I don't need AEW and to shit on AEW. My content was there when AEW was good and I was positive. I was actually doing better numbers than I'm doing now. The only reason why they're not as good as they were is because the show sucks. I don't need AEW to be bad. I don't want AEW to be bad. I was getting the numbers well before AEW completely fell off a cliff. I don't know, man. Does everybody have short-term memory? I can go back and pull up figures and numbers and analytics if you want me to, but at that point, you don't want me to, because I would make everybody look like a fucking idiot. Sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and maybe concentrate on your own dead fucking channels and your own dead podcast, and maybe not hitch your wagon to toxic positivity on AEW's product, because sooner rather than later, you're going to find out that that is doing more harm than it is good. Just saying. Speaks to you as a human being on you covering AEW, and there's nothing wrong with the show, and you don't want to be critical of what they do, and you're afraid to fucking piss off the boss. Fuck that. I don't give a shit. I have standards to uphold, and if I'm not honest with my community, what the fuck am I doing here? That's number one. Wanted to get that off my chest. Number two, people complained about the start of the pay-per-view where we had Jet Speed, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight against FTR. I'm sorry, bro. I just don't care. I don't. Two great tag teams, don't get me wrong. All four great professional wrestlers. I don't care. Why does anybody care? Is there anything on the line? Is there anything exciting going on? Adam Copeland had to go film some fucking Viking documentary or whatever the fuck he's doing, and the storyline that actually was in progress now has to take a backseat, and FTR has to wrestle these two losers who haven't won a fucking match in 2 months. Or has made the tag team division better by them being enhanced, or them enhancing the tag team division. I'm sorry, pardon me while I don't care. A lot of people were complaining about the start of the show because this match bled into the actual 8 p.m. pay-per-view, and then some other people were like, it reminded me of WCW Nitro, JD. WCW Nitro, huh? Yes, because that's what we really want. A dead brand that's been dead for many, many, many years now. That's exactly what you want AEW to be compared to. A brand that is dead. That's what you want? There are way more similarities to WCW that AEW doesn't want anybody to really kind of uncover and talk about. But you really want to compare AEW to WCW? Bro, AEW is in the shit that it's in right now because it continues to make the same mistakes that WCW made. I don't understand. First of all, I do understand why people were for the concept. First of all, it came from Dave Meltzer, and if you're taking advice from Dave Meltzer and you're taking that advice and integrating it into your actual show, you are so far lost that there is no helping you. So the idea of it to bleed into the show came from Dave Meltzer on Observer Live. That is mistake number one. I commend them for trying something new, but let's call a spade, folks. FTR and Jet Speed, no matter how good both teams are, sold 0 tickets, sold 0 pay-per-views on Amazon, YouTube, DirecTV, or any local cable provider, and on Max. They sold 0 additional pay-per-views. You had 0 people who were watching the pre-show and said, oh man, I gotta order this tremendous, mind-blowing, unbelievable, exciting pay-per-view for $50 because I am so excited after what FTR and Jet Speed did on the free pre-show. They sold 0 interest into the pay-per-view, and whoever was already committed to the pay-per-view was already committed to the pay-per-view, and they did nothing to add any monetary value extra to WrestleDream. So if you wanted to do that with somebody, maybe it should have been somebody that the fans actually give a shit about, and not FTR and Jet Speed. I complained about it because AEW's tailgate brawls or their pre-show or whatever the fucking case may be is all worthless. I mean, when you got the Costco guys performing on the pre-show, I mean, do you need any more of a reason to stay away from the fucking pre-show? Yes, because I want to see Big Boom AJ against Rocky fucking Romero. Nobody gives a fuck about the pre-show, and it's actually insulting to my bottom line. It's actually insulting to me, the paying customer, where I did everything to avoid watching that shit, to have that shit, which nobody cares about, and nobody would willingly pay for, bleed into the actual pay-per-view, and I have to watch an extra 10 minutes of something that I actively tried to avoid. Nobody cares. I wrote this down. Because nobody seems to understand the concept of paying for something that you clearly never had any intention of watching. I don't understand it. You pay $50 for a fancy dinner. You get seated at a table covered in last night's dirty plates. Goodbye. You fucking kidding me? It's like booking a reservation at a Michelin star restaurant, showing up for an 8 p.m. fucking reservation with expectations of you being treated like a fucking king for the night. You're ready, you heard all the reviews, you want to experience this, first time ever, and you're being handed a menu while you sit in a sea of used wine glasses and half-eaten bread from the fucking couple that just left I didn't pay for anybody's leftovers, but that's exactly what AEW did. They gave you the leftovers that nobody wanted. Yeah, you got the fucking toxic positivity creators and the wannabe podcasters who will never amount to anything openly bowing to Tony Khan and fucking stroking Tony Khan. What a great idea! What a great concept! They sold 0 tickets! My opinion, Raj Giri and everybody else that had something to say about this, Samantha Irvin, or whatever her name is now, Samantha whatever, Ricochet's fiance, wife, Ricochet himself, everybody coming out, can't handling an opinion based on what we like and what we don't like. Maybe she should worry about her music career. Maybe he should worry about how he's fucking absolutely more cold now than he was 6 months ago. No, but Raj Giri's opinion is the one that fucking matters because he didn't like the fucking pre-show bleeding into the actual main attraction, main card. I don't understand it. And then you got this. Former AEW coach Sarah Stock took to social media and took aim at WrestleDream over the brutal spot during the show's I Quit match, which was the main event that went on at midnight. Another complaint. Well, maybe if they didn't give us the fucking pre-show that bled into the main show and wasted 10 minutes, we would have been here 10 minutes earlier. The brutal spot during the I Quit match with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, the infamous fish bowl, which I legitimately thought there was going to be fucking actual fish in there or some type of deadly creature, piranhas. I wouldn't be surprised. Fish bowl, ice cold water, Darby being drowned live on television. Sarah Stock had a problem with this. She warned parents not to let their kids watch AEW. Stock's comments received several responses, some in favor of her sentiment and obviously some against it. Clearly, you know who the people who were against this. Sickos. None of the people who complained about Sarah Stock's opinion have kids, a social life, probably parents, and they live in a dark basement somewhere where they probably keep their relatives captive and starve them to death and have 3 or 4 different girlfriends who they do whatever with down in the basement. If you know, you know. Amanda Huber, Brodie Lee's wife, Amanda Huber, who works in AEW and is the wife of late Brodie Lee, argued with Sarah Stock, saying that she was being hypocritical, citing that Stock choked another woman out with the belt. Interesting. That's a fucking winner right there. During her wrestling career, Sarah Stock fired back, claiming Huber was exposing her ignorance, which earned another response. Stock fired back with a series of bold claims against Huber. If I have them, if I'm not lazy enough to actually clip the tweets, I'll put them in the video here. She fired back after a series of bold claims with Huber. Stock claimed that when she first met Amanda, she was tearing down Sting's daughter and Tony Khan for allowing her to take your spot in AEW Outreach. Huber fired back, accusing Stock of lying to get money. Huber serves as part of AEW's community outreach team while her son Brodie Lee Jr. appears on screen as the leader of the Dark Order, whom we have not seen. I mean, is that even a role in the company anymore? Stock was an agent/coach for AEW, but the two sides parted ways earlier this year. She has previously worked for WWE. I wonder why she was so critical of the fish tank spot. Maybe she's looking to hop on it, and maybe she also wants a TKO gift basket. Surprised that wasn't stated here. She doesn't work with anybody. The tension between these two demonstrates a growing conversation about pro wrestling and responsibilities to protect younger fans. While while AEW rather, has always set itself apart as more violent than its WWE counterpart, there remains a debate as to whether spots like the attempted drowning or the attempted suffocation last WrestleDream in 2024 should not make it to television. Folks, this is less about the parents allowing their kids to watch pro wrestling or not watch pro wrestling. This is well beyond that. What I find funny is that, A, the company continues to absolutely vilify. There's like a series of things. Criticism is made. The troops are riled up. Then they attack. And then they try to cancel. That's exactly what is being done here, and it happens almost monthly without fail. Random people are chosen. I, unfortunately, have suffered this and am right now still suffering from it, still dealing with it, back from March 10th, where AEW apparently has a soft working relationship with House of Glory, and according to what I know, both Mercedes and Tony Khan, who works behind several different yes men because he doesn't want the blame for anything, which we all know comes from him anyway. It all comes from the top, have actively worked with House of Glory to soft partnership. And one of their demands was they don't want me on commentary during this soft partnership. Now, you may think that I am not with the company anymore. I am still very much with the company because I have not been fired. I have not been given my termination. No official statement has been released. Someone of my status in the community who is a prominent figure in this community, you would think I would get a statement. I have gotten no statement. So I am currently still dealing with it as well because of AEW. This is the plan every time a criticism is made. Criticism is made, they rile up the troops, they attack, and then they try to cancel. What I find funny is Sarah Stock, all she said is that she would never allow her kids to watch something that Jon Moxley and Darby Allin did in the main event of WrestleDream. Here you have Amanda Huber, who all she needed to do was agree with Sarah Stock and say, yes, it is the parents' duty to monitor what their kids watch and don't watch. And it's up to the parents that will allow their kids to watch something like this. All you needed to do if you wanted to defend the company was have a peaceful and very straightforward conversation. Well, to be fair, Sarah, the match and the spot aired close to 12:30 Eastern Time, and most children at that point are in bed. If you are a parent that puts your kids to bed early, this is not a problem. If you have kids of age that you want to watch this, that is up to you and at your discretion. If you don't want them to watch this type of content, you can send them to bed early and have them watch something else at that point. That was it. She's a parent herself. She is someone that should be able to level with Sarah Stock. I don't know if Sarah Stock has kids, but I'm using this as an example. If Sarah Stock does have kids, Amanda could level with Sarah Stock and say, yes, as a parent myself, I take blah, 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 blah protocol and allow Brodie to watch something that I allow him to watch. If I don't want him to watch that certain something, I don't allow him to watch that certain something. That's all it needed to be. Yet it turned into criticism, rile up the troops, attack and try to cancel and blackball said personality from community and get the fan base to fucking sick their fangs into said personality and just amount hatred and toxicity upon said individual. This is what they do. And the funniest thing of all is they have someone labeled for every single criticism. If it's towards the product, it's usually Ricochet or Dax or someone along those lines. The bigger guys, they don't give a fuck. I mean, you'll get it. You push MJF's buttons enough, he'll fucking come out on social media and say something, which is normally, you know, it's not a every week, every month case. It's a very rare. He's too busy to be meddling with the fucking cretins on social media. John Moxley, Swerve will do something. Swerve has got everybody in the community blocked because he can't handle criticism at all. You know, you get your talents that will go out there and wave the flag of AEW. But in this situation where I said they have someone for every single criticism, if it's about the tag team division, it's Dax. If it's about the creative or a certain direction, it's Ricochet or so-and-so, Swerve, or maybe somebody else on that middle tier. The fact that this had to do with parents and what the parents should and shouldn't have their kids watch, they have Amanda Huber, who's a parent herself, come out and begin picking fights over the criticisms that parents may have, dumbing down everybody else's opinion as if they don't matter. Amanda, who is a parent herself, a mother herself, they have her ready in queue to go to battle over the criticisms of This Is Not for the children to be watching. That's what I find laughable, folks. The company is so absolutely fucking clueless. They don't know that their behavior in this instance is driving the fan base further and further and further and further away from the product. Jon Moxley and Darby Allin didn't have to do anything. It's the fucking people that work there that are absolutely the detriment to why AEW is fucking failing. Never mind the indie Mudshow garbage that we got in the main event between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, which basically was, you could see right through what Tony Khan was doing. The fact that Darby wanted to climb Mount Everest, this was supposed to be, this at WrestleDream in the main event was supposed to be probably more violent at Allin. This was his crowning moment. Darby was supposed to be the AEW World Champion by beating Jon Moxley and vanquishing the Death Riders. As you see, Adam Page was tasked with that obligation at Allin. He won the World Championship. And where is Adam Page now, chat? Adam Page is having one of the more unmemorable and god-awful world title runs of any AEW champion before him, because there was no plans for Adam Page. It was supposed to be Adam Page or Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay or Adam Page. Remember that? Neither one of those guys wanted to win. Tony didn't give a fuck because it was supposed to be Darby Allin. So basically what you got here was a recreation of what Hangman and Moxley did at Allin, and they never followed up on Hangman, and I doubt they'll follow up on Darby Allin. You can see that there was no effort put into Hangman Page post Allin because it was supposed to be Darby. Folks, the moral of the story is this has nothing to do with how you parent your children. I think everybody with a fucking brain knows that if you see attempted murder on television and your kid is way too young to be watching anything like that, then you're not going to allow them to watch it. What I find funny is how Ricochet and Tony Khan use the term family friendly in regards to their ticket prices, comparing them to WWE. First of all, you made a fucking critical error right there, both Ricochet and Tony Khan. You should not be using in any context family friendly to describe your content of AEW. You should have put family affordable instead. There's nothing family friendly about your content. Not when you have fucking Sky Blue stapling Tony Storm's vagina and stapling Tony Storm's tits, and you got Mina coming out, jiggling her fucking tits in front of the camera, and you got two women making out. You know, nobody want. Listen, man, if you're a parent, you're not going to be wanting your kids to watch this slop, okay? So it is certainly up to the parents whether they want their kids to watch it or not. It's not about that. It's about the company unable to handle criticism. It's their fan base unable to handle a strong, valued opinion of their product. And I'm going to throw this graphic up on screen right now. Folks, the moral of the story is there are no children, there are no youth watching this show. What you see on screen right now are the demos, the 18 to 49 demos of AEW right now. Look at this. This is 2025, quarter by quarter. Quarter one was a 0.17. Quarter two was a 0.16. Quarter three was a 0.15. October is 0.10. Nobody is watching this product. They've alienated more than half of their audience. Their demo is cut in half, more than half, year over year. Their normal median for ratings now is anywhere between 500 and 550,000. This is a show that was bringing in 900,000 viewers weekly. Their demo was rivaling Raw. And this is where their demo is. Kids are not watching. Parents are not allowing their kids to watch this show. Gee, I wonder why. With all the slop and the indie Mudshow shit that we're given, why would they allow their kids to watch? AEW is not cool anymore. That's what you should really be concerning yourself with. You want to go out there and support the fucking company, that's one thing. But don't go out there on social media, on a public platform, and complain that a parent is not going to allow their kids to watch this shit and then share their opinion online with other parents why they aren't going to allow their kids to watch it. And then you come and wave the fucking flag and you argue with those people. Those people have every right to their fucking opinion than anybody else. And that is somebody that you should find common ground in because you yourself are a fucking parent. How about the moral of the bigger story here is the fact that AEW is not fucking cool anymore. Nobody wants to watch AEW willingly, and they're doing everything possible to drive away their fucking audience. They think what they're doing is cool, it's hip, it's in, it's must see. Bro, the ratings and the numbers prove otherwise. Where I can give you numbers, where I'm a successful streamer, number one in the community, I can give you numbers too, and so can AEW. Why their product is fucking failing, and why the kids aren't watching, or as many kids are not watching anymore, because it's not cool. All Sarah Stock needed to do was show Amanda Huber this. Yes, you're correct. Nobody in that age range, nobody in that demo is watching. The only people left watching this show are fat fucking jobless losers who live on Reddit, who haven't seen a fucking gym or sunlight in days, weeks, months, years. In the 48 to 57 demo, those are the only people left watching this show, and that's all Tony Khan really wants to cater to. That's all he cares to cater to is that audience, because they are the sickos, and he loves them. And this is who we used to interact with on AOL back during AIM and Reddit and all these message boards, man. This is who he wants to cater to. Meanwhile, the show is dead. The creative is terrible. He's the worst booker of the year. And this is the worst television that they produced in all 6 years. But everything's great. Everything's great. With numbers like this, I don't know how you see anything being great. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you guys go out there and check out the rest of the content. There's plenty of it. We've been rocking and rolling all through the month of October. Hit that thumbs up down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Please hit that subscribe button down below. And I will be live back with you tonight. We got a big Monday Night Raw tonight. I'll be here to cover it live for you. So tonight live, and then tomorrow, Tuesday Night Titans with the one and only Solid Monster right here. We'll cover WrestleDream. I'm sure there'll be some varying opinion, but what remains is always some great discussion. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you tonight live for Monday Night Raw right here on Off the Script.